Alright guys, this is Unit 2D review. I'm going to do evens here starting on page 1. It says graph each system of equations, then state the solution if any. So we know that if we're graphing here, the first thing we want to do is make sure we get everything into y equals mx plus b form, so that we can start at the y-intercept and then use the slope to show us direction. So I'm going to take this first equation, and this is going to be done in my blue pen, and I'm going to solve for y equals. So you've got x plus 2y equals 8. I'm going to subtract x on both sides. Move that over so you can see. And then I've got 2y equals a negative x plus 8. And then divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. You get y equals a negative 1/2 x plus 4 for my first line. I'm going to go ahead and graph that, starting at the y-intercept of positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, make a point. Then I'm going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and repeat that pattern. That's going to be my first line. Keep your graphs nice and neat. You need to use a straight edge. That's always a good idea. So here, I'm just going to use that protractor real quick. So that's my first line. The next line, I'm going to do my work in black ink so you can tell the difference in work. I know it's kind of crowded around here. I'm going to subtract x on both sides. You get negative y equals a negative x minus 4. And then you divide everything by a negative 1 to cancel that guy out. Or you can multiply by a negative 1, either way. You get y equals positive 1x plus 4. So that's my second line. So I go up to positive 4, make a point. I notice that's also where my other line started. And then my slope here is up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. The pen's running out of ink, isn't it? You continue that, and you can use your straight edge there. What's cool is, since it both started at positive 4, I know that that y-intercept is actually also my solution. So my solution here, where they cross, is 0, positive 4. Notice they have one solution because they cross at one point. Number 4, I've got my first line already solved for y equals, so I can go ahead and graph that, starting with that y-intercept of negative 1, and then going up 3 over 1. So positive 1, 2, 3 over 1, 3 over 1. Continuing that up, and I can connect those points to get my first line. Then that next line I need to solve for y equals, so I'm actually going to add 3x to each side. And I'm left with y equals 3x plus 4. So I go up to positive 4. And then use my slope to go up 3 over 1. And what I notice is I actually have the same slope in both equations of a positive 3. So these lines are actually going to be parallel. And they are never going to touch. So when you have those parallel lines, your answer is no solution. Number 6. Now we are doing the same thing, but we are going to graph the inequalities in shade. So y equals for both equations, so I know they're already ready to graph. I don't have to solve for anything. So I'm going to start this first one at the y-intercept of negative 1, and then I go up 3 over 1. This is a dotted line, so you're going to dot, dot, dot all the way down. And then I know my y's are less than, So I'm going to shade below that line. And that's going to be my black line. Now I'm going to do the next one in blue. So I start at the +4, and my slope is down 2 over 1. So I go down 2 over 1. I see where they meet there. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. It's going to be a solid line. And I'm going to kind of shade on a hash this next one. I know my y's are greater, so I shade this way. You can kind of see where they overlap here is the solution area. Shade it so that it's clearly defined. That's kind of why I outlined mine, so you could clearly see where the solution area is. Wherever your shading overlaps. Notice this part is just blue, this part is just black, but these two overlap right there for blue and black. That's it for page 1. Stay tuned for pages 2 through, I think, 4 for this review. Come into tutoring if you need help, guys.